edge-hill projects. But the history of Bass Street, we moved from Bass Street to 12th Avenue, now we're out there for Brick Church Pike.
Talk about the fort. Talk about the fort.
But the fort, that was my playground. I knew where every apple tree was, every pear tree was. I knew, that's where we played at. And, I think I asked somebody before we first started, make sure they don't do nothing to the wall up there. 'Cause that's, as kids, that's what we got on the wall and ran around, that's where we played at. So that meant, it meant a lot to me today, because down there they had the little covers where you could count, I think where the soldiers stuck the guns through the little holes in the little wall, where the little wall is, where people tour up through there now. And it was just a blessing to be invited here today to express my family in the history of Bass Street and the fort, where I grew up and played at. So it means a whole lot to me, because this is where I was born and raised at, right off of Bass Street.
Amen.
Cool.
Amen.
I wanted to, oh, thank you. I wanted to express the importance of this, of Fort Negley and to my family and to the Edge Hill community. Today, you guys, was the first day that I ever went to the top of that hill. It is, it is. I know. You remember, I don't know if you remember, but when we first, Mama first moved up there in Edge Hill, they would come back with stuff, and I said, where have y'all been? I'm the oldest, it's 9 of us. And they said, we've been in the tunnel. I said, what tunnel?
I took them up there.
Oh my God. And they told me the tunnel up there on the hill. And it wasn't, and I didn't believe them till they started bringing stuff in the house, little artifacts and stuff. And each time I'd ask them, where'd you get that? In the tunnel, on the side of the hill, there's some tunnels.
Yeah.
And we go in, I said, don't go in it again. It was later, you guys, that I was in a meeting with, help me, the council person, that
Kobe
when they
Sledge.
was getting ready.
Kobe Sledge.
Huh?
Kobe Sledge.
Kobe Sledge at the Sunnyside organization.
Yeah.
And he presented something that says a plan to build around this fort.
Okay.
And I said, you can't do that. He said, Miss Brenda, and somebody said in the audience said, she don't even live over here. And I said, I live down the street in Edge Hill, and Mr. Bobby asked me to come. I said, but you need to stop them from trying to build anything, because that's sacred ground. He said, what do you mean, Miss Brenda? I said, there's bodies up there, there's caves up there, there's artifacts up there. And I asked, have y'all done a ground penetrating? Do y'all know what's under there? And he said, well, no. I said, well, you need to find out. You need to stop
That's right.
those plans. And so they stopped those plans, and they found out, and I learned today, listening on the tour, that they found bodies, facial things and all that stuff. And so, and me standing up there today looking out, I say to myself, oh my gosh, the people that decided to build this fort and the people that did all the work doing this fort, you can stand there and look and see all parts of Nashville. And I'm like, they had a good idea putting it right here. This was a main place, and this is a place that they overcame. You know, in February, what is it, 1862, the people surrendered, and they said, here, your fort, y'all done beat us. So I'm through,
Oh, that's
because I
fine.
don't want to keep going.
Would anyone else on the panel like to share their perspective of how Fort Negley in South Nashville has shaped Nashville's culture?
I would. I've lived in South Nashville since 1972. Ironically, in the midst of what the Civil War went through on Sutton Hill, which is one block from Battlefield Drive. And those who know the history know about the Civil War coming through here on the way to Franklin. But Fort Negley has been a casualty of so many other things, like so many other things written out of mainstream history. And so you have to go and search and hunt for information. The late Mr. William Daniel, who had the tour through Nashville, passed away in 2014. We would meet at the Crystal when it was still open down there, and a bunch of us would talk all the time about everything that happened in Nashville. But anyway, he gave me insight about what took place, and we didn't study it in school. But the significance of Fort Negley is, of course, people were conscripted to build it. And many never got paid for the work that they did. And as a really young person in Nashville, the most I knew about South Nashville before I moved here was going skating at Six and Bass.
Yeah, I'm about to say my house.
And coming to Edge Hill Projects on Horton Street because of the friends we had and our competitive nature with Cameron School, which was a part of the Pearl High family. And so there are many, many stories that connect. And when I was younger, Lord have mercy, the commercial part was that there was a Fort Negley Cleaners.
Yeah, right there where the,
So everybody capitalized
it's,
on Fort
boat
Negley
place there.
and the
It's got
name,
motorcycles and boats.
except telling the story of the significance of how it changed the history of the Civil War and the United States and what it meant. William Daniel also revealed that even after the war ended, some of the Confederate soldiers got pensions, but many of the northern soldiers,
Colored troops.
the Union, didn't get their pensions.
Right.
So and we're just scratching the surface right here, and so much so. Thank you for the opportunity.
I'd just like to
You can
say
say
that
that.
it's very important that we all work together. And you just have to know that, I know during, when King was marching, and who was the attorney?
Z.
Luby?
Not Luby, this is another.
Avon
gentleman.
Williams?
No, other gentleman, he's short, out of, Alabama.
Oh,
Fred Gray.
Yeah.
King said to Fred Gray said, let me march, I wanna march. And King told him, you don't need to march, you need to come get us out of jail. So everybody, just know that everywhere you are, you have a task.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, now, I had worked at Bethlehem Centers and Miss Brenda had worked at Edge Hill. So she and I knew each other when, through that work, when I came to Belmont. And so we keep in contact and kind of know from her perspective, Walter and I don't have to be in the same place. It's important that he does what he do and I do what I do, but we all have to collaborate. So one day I got a telephone call to ask would I be on the Fort Negley committee. Well, I loved history, but I knew why it was important. I'm from Mississippi, but I had been here long enough to know why this was important to the community.
Sure.
And the mayor attended those meetings, and, everybody they had on the committee attended those meetings. But if something was gonna happen that I felt in my gut is not right, I could talk to Miss Brenda. She's not sitting here, she's doing her work. Now I need to do my work. And one day I got a call from the then CEO, from the Adventure Science Center, to say, we need to do this. I forgot what they were trying to do now, but it was important that I called Miss Brenda to find out, what the needs are and one of the things that you said to me, and I remember was that the people, we were talking about, Edge Hill, building some kind of road so that people in Edge Hill are connected to this. 'Cause I didn't know that part of this area used to be Edge Hill.
Mhm.
And so, once I learned that, you know, and she's saying why the kids, and I know why the kids from Edge Hill need to be able to come to Fort Negley, so that they learn that history. So it's just like, it's when somebody asks you to do something, just know that you, to go ahead and do it. It's important that you connect with other people, cause we're all in different places, and we all need to figure out how we use our position to serve and advance our folks.
Sure.
I think that's a great segue into our next topic, Joyce, which brings me to the notion of community advocacy and collectively using our influence to continue and carry messages. And so with that said, South Nashville has changed a lot over time, but the community continues to find ways to preserve African American history while addressing today's needs. Advocacy, cultural, and local organizations play a role that keep that history alive. Celebrations like Juneteenth, which is historically held at the fort, are more traditions. They are opportunities to bring people together, educate, and build connection across generations and cultures. With that in mind, let's explore this question. In what ways can communities, excuse me, y'all, in what ways can communities, events like Juneteenth, foster understanding, unity, and shared responsibility across generations and cultures? I'm happy to repeat that because I am choking on a piece of cheese that was delightful. so I'm happy to repeat that if it was not clear.
Repeat it, please.
Pardon me. In what ways can community events like Juneteenth foster understanding, unity, and shared responsibility across generations and cultures? I hope you got that. In what way?
Oh, my goodness. When we.
It is. These
when
are
we-
questions that were proposed prior
When
to.
we present different events in the community, the most important thing is to get it out there to other agencies, other organizations, to schools, to churches, and all those different entities to bring everybody together. It's like when we do the National Night Out Against Crime. A lot of people do it in their own communities, but when you have a big event like we do, I'll never forget the year that they said you can't shut down 12th Avenue. And I said, yes, we can, because all we got to do is get permission to shut that block down. We did that, and we had different agencies, different partner agencies to set up booths. We had the children doing presentations. We invited people, at that time I think it was Musa, African Dreamland, Ashid, and all them. You know, they came and they presented cultural music and all that stuff for the children. The kids didn't even know the types of instruments they were playing and stuff. So I'm thinking that when we do events and we invite people, you know, from all over the city, not just in the community, it tickled me when they started EVNA, because organized ONE was the only community organization that we started back in, what, 91?
Tell them what ONE is.
Organized Neighbors of Edge Hill. It's like being a part of MDHA and working with residents. We wanted to do a lot of stuff, y'all. MDHA said, we ain't got no money for y'all. So we decided to form a nonprofit. And this nonprofit was formed the year before TNT. And we always said that with Reverend Barnes and Gerald Taylor that helped form ONE and then TNT, we was the what do you call it, the sample organization. Because we went by the same things that they did. But we started this organization, and we actually, I don't know, when we became a nonprofit, we were able to get grants, we were able to partner with other agencies and do different things, but I don't know, it's like we're all one. We're all one. And when, Ebner got started, there were people in O&E was upset because they were in O&E, and then they started Ebner.
Edgehill Village
Edgehill Village Neighborhood
Association.
Association, and they were like, how dare they start an organization and we already here? I said, we're all one. We're all one. I mean, the thing that I had to get across to people, we're dealing with stuff like social change, social justice, all this stuff. I said, but Ebner is a community group. It's like they're dealing with stuff like getting to know the neighbors and doing stuff that bring the neighborhood together. You know, so I don't know. I think that
We were
when,
dealing with the businesses who were trying to move into the neighborhood.
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah, we
it
was
a
dealing
different
with so
purpose.
much.
Yeah.
So I said, we're all doing the same thing. We're all one, so let's do it together. And like you said, we do it together. That's what we do.
Those partnerships are seriously important to the city,
Yeah.
and I want to applaud you for your work, because if you hadn't stood in the gap, a lot of things would have been in South Nashville a long time ago.
And there's another organization that we started, I wanna say, I can't remember the pastor's name at Kane Avenue Baptist Church. He left and went to the east. But he called me about starting an organization with the churches
Yeah,
in the area. So it was his idea, it was not my idea. And I just can't think of his name right now. But you remember the pastor at Kane Avenue Baptist Church is short?
Reverend Jones or Stockdale?
Mm-mm.
No,
It was
it was
before
before then.
Stockdale.
Okay.
It was before
For my time.
Stockdale. And he said that he had ideas for what could happen at Rose Park. And those are the ideas that we talked to Ms. Brenda, and those are the ideas that together we put into place at Rose Park. But he wanted to do something more. And so we organized a group called the South Nashville Fellowship Community Development Corporation. And these were Kane Avenue, it was Mount Gilead, Bethel, Second Missionary Baptist Church. It was
Watson
Greater
Grove.
Cross Temple, Watson Grove, the mosque was in it, Edgehill United Methodist Church. And together we had mayoral and council forums, and we were also looking at what were the ramifications of gentrification in the area. And during COVID, we all got together and we had testing for COVID, then we had open up the parking lot at Bethel, but again, it was all the churches involved in it, so that we could do COVID vaccines together. We worked with Meharry on that. We renovated, what was it, let's see, four or five houses in the senior houses in the Nashville community with Belmont and with the housing group.
Yeah, MDHA.
Woodbine,
It
Woodbine.
wasn't Woodbine.
Or TVA.
It's the housing group that builds houses for low income.
A lot, not a lot. No.
Anyway, we built housing,
Jimmy
we
Carter's
renovated, yeah, Jimmy Carter's group. We renovated housing, in the area. Habitat for Humanity. Why can't we think of anything? That's why we all work together. Why can't think of
Habitat.
with Habitat, all the churches got together, the students, and we renovated housing. Well, this morning I was in a meeting at 10 o'clock, and what we wanna do is what we're realizing now is that the children don't know these stories
Thank you.
of the area. And Bethel, so far, it's Bethel, Mount Gilead, because even the churches that have moved out of the area are realizing what is happening. And they're not gonna teach it in our schools, and so it is our responsibility to teach it. And so we're getting together, working with a woman who lived in the neighborhood on Gale Lane, and she's a former middle school history teacher, and it was the pastor of Second Missionary Baptist Church there in Hermitage now. And he said, we need to do something, and I said, well, what age group? He said, an age group where children gonna obey and they can pay attention. So we chose middle school, so 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. We're gonna be working on a project with them to go to the churches, and we're calling it a youth history project. And we want the kids to interview the elders in the churches, to tell, we went over the questions this morning, to tell the history of their churches. And we're trying to collect the pictures, and we don't know what the end product is gonna be. It might be a book, it might be a video, it might be one of those graphic books. We're talking about that because we've got the Black Student Association at Belmont involved. But because the area have gentrified, we need to know they need to know what happened in South Nashville.
Yeah.
And the historical, contribution of the historical churches in this area, and that's what we're doing. I'm so glad I met you this morning, so now we can include Bass Street. So that's what we're doing. We're still working.
Yeah, it's a work, it's a,
I would like to just kind of transition to the next question. I feel like Ms. Joyce always kind of takes us there. So with that same, and if Ms. Brenda, you want to jump in on this one since the mic is next to you, what are some of the significant landmarks? We just kind of want to paint the picture for individuals who are not familiar with South Nashville, the history and some of the stories that just have not been told. And so can you think of some historical landmarks in South Nashville and even connected to whom those famous people or civil rights activists that may have contributed to those landmarks?
landmarks.
Like for instance, the polar bears, Rose Park.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Teaka. Those polar bears were, a landmark for the community for, I don't know, 11 years. Those polar bears were at a house down there on Edge Hill. And they were purchased by, what is this, Zima, was this Hill?
Zima Hill.
Zima Hill. And, the lady bought the house, the lady that was living in the house decided, I'm gonna sell this house. And she decided to auction off the bears. Do y'all know, oh my goodness. And I said, no, don't do that. And people had been to talk to her, and we had, offers coming as far away as Alaska, and, what is his name? A hunker burning love. What's his name? Elvis's place. They wanted those bears. And so I said, you all know the significance of the bears. Let's go talk to the lady. We went down there and talked. I told Reverend Barnes, we just need to let her know the significance and why we want to keep them here. So we told her the history of the bears. We told them about how it was that we really wanted to keep those bears in Edge Hill. And O&E had just gotten a community development block grant where we put that walking track down there and that little park over there behind the library. And we had money, so I said, let's buy the bears. So we offered her to buy the bears and prayed on her goodness to say, please keep the bears here. So we bought the bears, and then we did what we called a contest, an essay contest, for people, students to actually, well, not only students, but anybody that wanted to do an essay and say exactly where we should put the bears. The young man that won that contest, suggested that they be in a central location, so we put them at the entrance right there at Gurnett Studio Apartments. And right now, you can see people over there taking pictures with those bears and everything, and that was significant. That's a significant landmark. But the only thing I don't like about it, they didn't put the true history of it about who bought the bears, because somebody came to me and said, y'all, those bears don't belong to y'all. O&E didn't buy them bears. MDHA is in their history where the bears that MDHA bought the bears. I said MDHA was the facilitators for the community block grant that O&E got to buy, to do
Put a
stuff.
sign up there. It's not too late.
And so that's the way I have to deal with some people. The other landmark is and the one that I think is really, really significant, is the William Edmondson Homesite Park and Gardens. William Edmondson's father, his name was Orange Edmondson. He helped to build Fort Negley. He worked to help build Fort Negley. And once they got it built, he settled on the hill with a lot of the other people, the slaves that helped to build it, they settled over there, so they probably were part of Bass
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and so, and the fact that William Edmondson's home site is right over there where Merritt School is, where their basketball court is, and we've been fighting so long to make sure that, the historical value of that property, where that park and garden is, you know, goes down in history. We've done things like getting historical markers, doing murals to put on the school over there, painting the basketball court. Oh, the most significant thing we did, you guys, was we said, they were gonna sell it in 2018. We actually rallied to get over 2,000 signatures on a petition to stop the sale of that school because of the historical value of that property. And so after that, I said, okay, y'all, what I say, Mr. Walter, continuous maintenance. We got to make sure nobody else come with a big pocket of money and say, I want this property. Because if they had sold it, the park would have went away and the garden would have went away. So I said, we started looking into becoming an arboretum. We became a level 1 arboretum. We planted, I think in the beginning, like 30-some trees, because you have to have a significant value of amount of trees. So after we became a level 1, we decided to name it a Heroes Arboretum. We make little plaques of significant people that contributed to the history of the Edge Hill community, and we put them, tagged the trees with them. One of the trees that I really love over there is the only weeping willow tree. And when, God rest his soul, young Carlos D. Fort Bailey, he plays at the We Fest every year. He just passed away not too long ago. So when we, the day that we had a plaque made for D. Fort Bailey, I said, young Mr. Carlos, where you want to put that? And he said, where do you think, Miss Brenda, would be a good place? I said, there's one unique tree here, and it's the only one that we have, which is a weeping willow. And he walked up there and looked at it, and that's why he put this, that plaque on that tree. So that is so beautiful. But I think the significance of connecting the dots, Ms. Teaka,
Yes, ma'am.
connecting everything, is the fact that in the future, we have plans, we call it the higher vision, that the residents got together, did strategic planning, and what they want to see at the William Edmondson Homesite Park and Garden is to turn that property into the William Edmondson Cultural Arts Center and Museum with the Edge Hill Branch Library in the bottom floor.
And just
We
to
got
say-
civic design to do that and everything, and so that's the next thing, the future thing, and the thing to have a walking thing. So we talked about it earlier today.
Yes,
Somebody
ma'am.
did.
And just to segue,
Yeah, we talked about having
just
a
to
walking.
segue into, Ms. Brenda, I'm sorry, just to segue really quickly, just maybe a couple, we just have a few seconds, so we wanna,
Oh, my goodness. See,
we'll-
y'all should have us in here.
yes,
We be
yes,
talking.
we,
Got a lot going on.
we'll touch on maybe one more landmark, and then Janine, are you wanting to do questions, or do you wanna do the presentation?
Let me
I want
ju-
to ask
I
a
Let's
need-
take-
question. This is not nearly enough time for us to cover all that we had planned to cover. Will you all agree to come back?
Well, let me connect some more dots
No,
regarding
no,
landmarks.
just a minute.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
go ahead,
checking
Elder.
you.
All right.
Yeah, he changed.
So I'm gonna put you all on a, I'm using my,
Let me-
young, my young
Let me use
time for my
teacher
elders.
mode.
I'm going to
Who
give you
knows
guys
the
about 2
significance
minutes.
Of Rose Park. Who was E.S. Rose?
He was a civil
Other
rights
than the
activist.
family.
Other than
Other
us,
than
so
the
we
family.
know who it was.
A civil rights activist.
He's a pastor.
Other than the panel.
Other than the
Oh,
panel.
other than panel, I'm sorry.
All right,
Yeah.
the pastor of Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church in 20s and 40s was a civil rights person back then in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. So you have a school and a park
And Easley Center is
in honor
named
of him.
for
Now,
the pastor.
what about Easley Center? Who is that named for? All right, Pastor Easley was the pastor of New Hope Baptist Church. New Hope Baptist Church and Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church to this day are back door to back door. Now, when you talk about everything we've been saying, people worked across all kind of lines to bring about some of the things that we have today. And yet we have some people who were very significant in the Civil War, the Civil Rights marches, whose names have never been called. But their civil rights work lasted from the 60s even up to now, because every job that we went on, it was a battle about whether we were competent, able to do the work or whatever was necessary. I went and worked with at-risk boys, and I saw the connection between the school to prison pipeline starting in 1970. And then I sat on boards and things that people don't even know about with rich people, very nervous, being in their homes in Bellmead. And I said, better not touch this, better not touch me.
And you know,
But you understand, all hands need to be on
and
deck.
you know who Bernard Lafayette was? He was
And
pastor at
yeah.
Progressive Baptist Church.
Yeah, and stop,
So I'm gonna let,
and stop
She's trying,
trying to
Mr.
claim
Searcy,
victories
and then that's
over
all.
here
kind
and
of
over
wrap,
there.
yeah, just for the sake of
But
time, I feel like they're gonna come
yeah.
back, you all. I feel like we're gonna have a secondary.
Don't ask us back.
We're coming back,
Don't ask us.
and we may have opportunities for
time.
individuals to
Yeah,
come
more
back.
time.
Just for the sake of time, and the
Let
commitment
me-
that we've made, I'll,
Allow me to.
yes, Mr. Searcy, go ahead.
Allow me to go back to
Attorney.
a point that Ms. Brenda raised, and that is about the trees in the Arboretum designation in Edmondson Park. And I want to recognize Austin Fernandez. Austin, stand up, please.
Yeah, he's our tree guru.
Yeah,
Look out, look out, look out, give it up, give it up.
who was instrumental
All
in
right.
that coming to fruition. And as you continue to hook things up, we live on Villa Place. We don't have enough time to talk about the luminaries of the African American community who grew up or who had housing on Villa Place,
Right.
Yeah.
including but not limited to W.O. and Kitty Smith, to
Bishop Prim.
Bishop Prim, but I'm thinking about the president of MNEA,
Oh, Janetta.
Janetta Martin,
Yeah,
and
Janetta
J.D.
Martin.
Martin,
Yeah.
and who was the musician?
W.O. Smith.
Not on Villa Place. I'm thinking
Okay.
about the organist, Chip Chavis. Yeah, oh, yeah.
I didn't
Sam,
realize
yeah,
you
that's
said
right.
that. Chick Davis, yeah.
Another luminary,
Yeah.
South Nashville luminary.
Yeah.
And as my senior moment will not allow me to remember the other two persons I wanted to recognize, but you asked me to close it out, and let me say thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Janine, just for the sake of time, how would you like
We
to
need
conduct
markers
this? Do you
in
wanna
front
go
of all
to?
those
Mr.
places.
Mentor, and, well, questions and answers real quick, and then Mr. Mentor is gonna share some slides. Is everybody good? Yeah.
Okay, so I want to thank our panelists. There are many past and present and future Trailblazers of South Nashville, and I'm thrilled to share this space with our guest panelists. Again, my family, I knew most of these, if not all of these. I see them in the community. My family probably could sit up here and share the same stories. My grandfather, Mingo Scott, who was a historian, and so he had a lot of history and legacy in South Nashville, and my grandmother. So I'm the legacy of the Scotts and the Jacksons. So again, I want to give us all this opportunity to open this space for questions. I will say we have the time to take 3 questions. So if you are, and don't try to be sneaky, you all, and combine 2 questions into one, because I'm pretty good at kind of weeding out things. So if you have a question, if you would raise your hand, and then I will ask you to stand in order of when the hand was raised. So it looks like we just have one question. Okay, well, you guys are either overwhelmed or they were so knowledgeable that you do not have anything that you have to ask. And so okay, so we have 2 questions. So if you would just stand, say your name, and then ask your question, and that question can be to one specific panelist, or it could be just a question for anyone. I will say, for the sake of time, we only have the time for 2 people each question. So if you answered question number 1, you gotta go over to question number 2. And that's just for the sake of time that we're on. So if you would like to go with your question.
Well, my question is so much stuff that I wanna hear from the panel, that I wanna know if we can go on and kind of appoint somebody or something to set a time for us to continue this conversation.
Ms. Janine.
That is out of my bandwidth. However, Ms. Janine is orchestrating today. I do serve on the board of Friends of Fort Negley. I'm sure there's an opportunity and a conversation that we can have as board of directors to have another program like this. But I will give Ms. Janine, who is spearheading this amazing event, the opportunity to come and share her sentiments.
I knew this was gonna be amazing, and I knew that that panel was amazing. So, Tracy is in the very back. He is the director of Fort Negley. He gave me the nod.
Stand up, Tracy, don't be shy.
He is a phenomenal director. I've been working with Tracy for some years now. Segue from Kwame to present, and we should call his name Kwame Lillard. This space was saged by Kwame Lillard.
Yes.
Solo. I had a conversation with Mayor Jim Cooper when the phase 1 began. He confirmed it. I know most of y'all not Facebook page people, but I will post that historic day the other day. I'm gonna try to keep it together because it was historic. I also was born in this area. So we will do this again. I feel like it's gonna be a series. If she'll tell you, I had so many questions, and because I'm so curious. Really, South Nashville has been erased from my childhood. There are memories left, but not actual buildings.
There you go.
Amen.
I'm a
So,
millennial, and there's not many buildings.
and Teaka,
So,
um,
sad.
I wanted someone young. I was trying to get more, and she stepped instead. She's a phenomenal young woman. So keep her lifted. It's not easy for women to stand in position. We have to put our arms around each other
Yes.
and lift each other up, because she looks confident, but she's probably nervous underneath because she lost a friend. So we should always keep people lifted. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I could go on too. So we will do this again.
I just came. You're probably like, what friend did she lose? I found out that a really close friend of mine passed away. So I didn't want to not fulfill my commitment. So I went to the funeral, and then I shifted here. But all is well. Thank you, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
Amen.
So we will do it again. We're gonna have Mr. Philip Mentor to show us the slides. We'll set a time. I have to talk to Tracy and make sure it works for everyone. We will get a piece of paper and your email addresses, and we will send you correspondence, okay?
Do we want to follow with what the last question? Oh, okay, oh, good, 3. So we're good. Look at that. So one more question, if you'll stand, and then ask your question.
My name's Teaka Morrow. Miss Brenda is actually my grandmother, and I just wanted to ask you all. It was crazy that you all mentioned the buildings and things. Which was my question was, how do you all feel about the gentrification in this area that has been going on since you all have been here for decades? And do you feel it has been beneficial or it has erased history?
I'm gonna make mine quick, as these are my elders that I look to for wisdom. Mine's gonna be really quick because it's not gonna be as inclusive as theirs. But again, so I won't say my age, but born and raised, the home that I currently live in is the home that I inherited in. My family has been in this neighborhood again for 3 generations, from Sigler to Edgehill to Ackland to Wedgwood, Houston, the fairgrounds. For me, if development happens, right? But if development is not inclusive, then there's no point in it. And so I probably could say that in a more professional, concise, I'm a legal professional, so I probably could use a more political way. But if it's not inclusive for all, it's not inclusive for any. For me, it's bittersweet because I remember the Becker's Bakery and You know, I
And the
I remember,
record
you know,
store
I know
on
I'm telling my age, right? I just use good moisturizer, but I just remember a lot of landmarks that, you know, I don't have a family and I don't have children, so I won't have those stories to tell. So I look to my wisdom and my family and generations that came before me and research. I look to them to tell the stories that at one day my children and or just community individuals will look to me to share. So I think we all have an obligation to share the stories and keep the history alive. I will give that question, excellent question, to one of our panelists that would like to answer that.
I've been around a long time. I remember going downtown with my dad to pay bills when we had to go in separate doors and this kind of stuff and stand in the back and wait and all that. But I've seen things happen in Nashville when people work together in love and respect and made vast changes in this city. It is my wish and prayer that we go back to that. The same people as people. The street I live on now, when we moved there, was 95% African American. Today is the other way. But when the storm hit a couple of weeks ago, people showed up. My neighbors, some of them didn't look like me. They brought me food and everything else that I needed. And see, that's inclusiveness, that's love. And so I told some people 2 weeks ago, or last week, that I love you. I'm not in love with you, but I love you because you're part of the human group. And so that's what I look at, that it's possible if we take what we have. I shared everything I knew with at-risk boys and girls, red, yellow, black, and white. And I helped save some from going into the system. And today, some of those people are making a difference in the world. So I thank God for the opportunity just to serve children and people in the church.
Would someone else like to take that? And then Ms. Joyce, I'll let you take that one. And then our next question, unfortunately, we only have time for just one more question. He kind of beat you to the punch. So Ms. Joyce, if you.
Quickly, there's good and bad. You know, sometimes you have a romantic view of what happened, you know, in the past. Oh, we used to do that, do that, and you forget about some of the things that should have changed. But what I think we need to do is to figure out how to stay organized so that we are a part of the change that happens. Like, for example, on Villa Place, when gentrification was happening, what we did was get together and we went downtown and decided that the houses, especially on Villa Place, now the rest of the neighbors didn't want to do it, we wanted to do it. Anybody who buys a house and who is going to renovate a house now has to choose from one of how many architectural plans?
Well, it's just a conservation overlay.
It's a conservation overlay. So what they're gonna have to do is keep the front of that house. They can do whatever they want to the back of that house, but they have to keep the front of those houses. Or if they tear that houses down, they have to choose one of the conservation things that were selected to keep the neighborhood, so that we look like a neighborhood.
All right.
Okay.
And it cannot
So there
be-
are things that you can do, but we have to stay aware, like I said, work with each other, tell each other, so we can be a part of the change.
They cannot be any higher than the original building that was torn down.
Good.
So the 3-story skinnies are not allowed.
And those that you see there in our neighborhood is the reason why we got together. Like we said, we can't have all these tall and skinnies in our neighborhood.
One last question,
Okay.
sir, and I'm not rushing y'all.
No, we good.
Because I know I will see you all outside of this space. I'm just doing my due diligence as the moderator. So,
Hard job.
sir,
My question was, I don't have to stand, because I can say it real quick, can we include in our next conversation, the Edmondson property? William Edmondson was one of the first nationally recognized sculptors, of African American descent, and to find out that his
Yeah.
And it is of artistic significance. So that's my question, if that could be included
Yes.
in the conversation. I got a yes already.
All right, you got a yes. Let's go on.
All right, well, I'm gonna pass
Mr.
it.
Mentor is up, you're up.
Well,
Share what you see.
I just wanna bring up, when you say about Fort Negley, right there where the science center is, it was actually Fort Negley Park,
Yeah.
where it was an outdoor park. It wasn't a center. It just, when we played that outdoor, we played cards like rook,
Yeah.
spades and stuff like that, but it was actually Fort Negley Outdoor Park. And that right there, that's me on the end right there, on Bass Street, and back behind there is what we call the Walnut Factory, where they shipped out all these walnuts in that building and all that right there was, and then back, that big building, that was Parina.
A what?
Parina.
Parina?
Oh, Serena.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, I was on second half.
So that's my family, and, Miss Angela found the keys to my, father's car on Bass Street.
Isn't that
And, Miss Angela, I wanna get with you and the people who works with you, right down here on the, railroad tracks, that's where a whole lot of bodies was buried at, that my granddaddy told me. Right there off the railroad tracks right there, on that side right there.
Yeah.
Have mercy.
And that's the old Bass Street Church right there. The original Bass Street Church on Bass Street.
Slaves. When their bodies wasn't claimed and sent back home or wherever they wanted to send them, they buried them along the thing. That's what was so significant when I
notice the
talked to
date.
Kobe. There's
Notice the date
bodies
at the
over
top.
there.
1962.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
So it was what? It was 79, 70 when our family moved to Edge Hill. And that's when my little brothers and sisters used to come over here. There was no boundaries for them. They went everywhere. It was hard keeping up with y'all. I even have to tell them, y'all get off this, they try to sleep on the patio. You know, y'all get off of this and go home. But no, we gonna have a sleepover. So, you know, when they first built that part up, that second half, you know, it was such a quiet and loving community that the kids could sleep outside on the patio. And I would say, y'all slept here last night, go home.
Okay, well, we're about to round out this beautiful discussion. We have one last question.
Okay.
So I personally feel that each and every one of us in this room is a trailblazer. Let me say that again.
Okay.
Each and every one of us is a trailblazer, and we carry a responsibility to our community and to those who have came before us to honor and uplift resilience and achievement by continuing to tell and share stories. For the next generation to carry the legacy and the torch. The question for my panelists is, what does it mean to be a trailblazer in South Nashville? And, because there's always a two-part, and how can each of us continue that legacy in our own families and neighborhoods? I'm happy to repeat that question. Okay.
This jacket I got on, you see what it say on it? That's something we doing to give back to the community of South Nashville.
What is that? Family reunion.
We have a picnic, we have a Christmas party for the people in the community. We feed, anybody who would like to come, we were having it
It's
down
severe,
at Severe
yeah.
Falls. And
I remember that.
we
You can't have it there now.
Well,
we outgrow it.
How come? Oh, I see.
well, and also they are not allowing parking on
We
the,
can't- we
there's a
can't
lot of
park
politics
over
behind
It's
it as
all
well.
right, yeah.
Mhm.
I know,
Yes, sir.
I know.
Okay.
How long was South Nashville Picnic? How long have you been doing it? 'Cause I've attended,
For
I know it was a.
For over 50 years is what I've told.
Over 40-something
Yeah.
years.
And where is it now?
living out there across from Cambridge High School, at that new park out there. And like I said, we provide food for everybody that we feed. You don't came, it's real nice.
I hosted it,
But
yeah.
something else I wanted to bring up that nobody's brought up. I would like to thank two representatives before your time, Charles Pruitt and Manfield Douglas.
And Miss Sandra Moore.
Yeah, so there was some people that, as we grew up, who we can go to as community leaders that help us for what our rent, and our bills and all of that.
Go pick up medication.
Yeah. So I just want to bring that up, and that's it.
Amen.
Would anyone else like to tackle that question? What does it mean to be a trailblazer in South Nashville? And how can we continue that legacy in our families and our neighborhoods?
I think the easiest thing, I don't know, one of the easiest things is to continue collaborating and partnering with organizations and people in the community. And don't judge people because, oh, they over there, you know, why you over here telling us this, that, these, and those. But most importantly, I think Ms. Janine and this group and everything, if we could get stories from people and do a book, so that it can be passed on to our children, their children's children, and stuff like that about the different experiences here in the Edge Hill, Fort Negley, William Edmondson home site, Villa, all in places, all these surrounding streets and stuff. Somebody told me something about something called a Rock Crusher Hill. I said, what's a Rock Crusher
That was behind Road Park School.
That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
and so children don't know things
A
about
quarry.
this. Some young people
had a
don't know
quarry,
it.
that's
I didn't know it. If we could just kind of, as we go, we don't have to make it a, you know, we got to do this now. But people just start jotting down stories and sending them to Ms. Janine and people that can put a book together.
I was gonna say the same thing. The only thing you do is take your telephone and interview somebody in your family.
Yes.
Ask them a question. You don't have to write anything. Just ask them a couple questions and record that on your phone, because they're gonna be dead and gone soon. And that story will die with them.
Yeah.
So do that.
Yeah, but that's my answer to that, and that's how we can keep things rolling. And it's like when people have things that they want to do. I thought it was so amazing, the amount of people that came together when they wanted to sell that school, Merrill School, and would do away with William Edmondson's legacy, his history and stuff. Oh my goodness. People came together that I didn't even know that they knew about it. And the ones that didn't know it, we would tell them a story, you know, about it. And it wasn't until after we started that, we found out about Fort Negley and the significance of William Edmondson connection to Fort Negley with his people.
Let me quickly add
Mhm.
that when we talk about gentrification earlier, the illustration of gentrification is the South Nashville Christmas party is now in Cane Ridge instead of Sevier Park.
Yeah. I can't
Enough
get to Cane
said.
Ridge.
I
I don't know where no Cane Ridge is.
How you gonna get to Cane Ridge?
We wanted to, but
There,
it takes a whole lot of picnic areas for people to sit down
Well-
and eat at that they don't have down here.
well, actually, and I'm not gonna get into the
But you
politics
can
of
bring
it, but as far as severe,
tables.
it was mandated, and it unfortunately, it does affect, the South Nashville picnic, but it is also for other boards and other businesses. They're not wanting individuals to park. Now, I will say, neighbors have made complaints, and I serve on the 12 South Board, so I can holistically and honestly tell you that, because I'm from South Nashville, but I try to keep my pulse all around.
Yeah.
And so neighbors were not happy that there was a lot of music or what may be perceived as chaos at Sevier Park, and they want to keep it as a park and family friendly. But that's a whole nother conversation. And the
Whose
good thing
family?
about
Whose family?
the good thing about today is that I'm sure all of our panelists are happy to have sidebar conversations once we wrap up. Miss Janine, I'm looking at the part of the program that says closing. So
Bye.
would you
Close
like
us
to come to the front and/or I'll give it to you at this point.
I really want to thank you guys. This has been a phenomenal day, a phenomenal week at the fort. My panelists, I knew you guys are bad. These are bosses, y'all. They didn't tell you half of the stuff they've done in the city to move it forward. All of them, every single one of them at the table are people that I admire. There are people who have poured into my life, who've loved on me. If our children had these folks in their lives growing up like I did, there would not be any kids on medication.
Oh, my goodness.
There would be no kids who are feeling unloved, unsafe in America. Community is everything.
Yes.
Church, family dinners, and it was okay to chastise a child.
Yes.
They go home and get a whooping.
Right. Remember Merritt there, I was youth director over 30 plus years, I don't know how many years. He gave me opportunity when others wouldn't. He put me in places that others wouldn't allow me to go. He allowed me to pour into those children because God called me to the work. I could go down the line. We're a family. And you're my family now.
We're all one.
We're all one. We are, because I can't even think of it right now, I'm so emotional. But we will do this again. Tracy and I just talked about, maybe we'll do a symposium of South Nashville for a day. And the symposium won't be just about talking about it, about it. How about that?
Sounds great.
So thank you for being here. Friends of Fort Negley, board members, wave your hand. At ACA, my folks done tipped out, but wave your hand. They're there.
Yeah, they go.
My family, stand up. I'm gonna put you on Front Street. That's my sister, my sons are here.
Where you?
Everybody
Oh my
sit
God!
down.
Oh, my goodness.
My
God!
Uncle Sam,
How you get so old? How you get gray hair? Oh my!
How you get that gray hair?
Joyce right here. I can keep going, I'm gonna be in trouble. Molly's back there. Molly, did you wave your hand?
Yeah.
Okay, Molly does a fossil program here at the board. I'm gonna get in trouble, I'm sorry. We're gonna, we'll be back. You wanna say something?
Now, I have a question. At our next meeting, can we, well, all of us be in charge to bring one young person who might want to.
Fantastic.
Who might want to bring.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
To learn some, because
you
this
gotta
stuff
bring one
is-
person.
Yeah, everybody bring one young person with you.
Well, if you know me, there will be a component in this symposium that deals with children and H group, because that's who I am.
Okay.
And there also needs to be a generational panel.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you and I talked about that.
Yes.
You want a
And it's just-
generational panel?
Well,
So-
it's not what I want, it's just what, if
We
you
need,
I
have to
think
meet
the
people
young
where they
people
are.
need to.
And so if you want seniors and elders and
Like that
people in
young
the middle and
college,
younger, the
young-
youth,
young lady.
you have to
Mhm.
create an inclusive
This Brenda got
environment.
some power.
So if you're looking and you don't see a reflection of yourself, and that could be a woman, a man, black, white, gay, straight, if you don't see a reflection of yourself, sometimes it's hard to identify.
Just
Yeah.
keep
So
in
just
mind,
something to,
We'll get the list, we will send out, we'll have a Zoom meeting, talk about how the plan is. We'll divide into committees and we'll make it happen. My sister and I were just talking, I guess AACA is gonna take a history on tour to Antioch, Hickory. Get myself in trouble because my son's, family is what, 150? They have a farm still in Antioch, Tennessee. It's a Blackland subdivision. And their grandmother is 99 years old, and she will reach 100, and so that's my due date.
Yeah.
So there are many stories and many powerful people. Dr. Angela Sutton, you gonna let me know I call your name? My partner in crime, who started this initiative, when she stood up in the council meeting. So we're gonna capture the stories, and we're gonna write a book, we're gonna make it happen.
All right.
I have done so much though. I need you to help us to make this happen. You all are now a part of the symposium. So we are gonna do it together.
Sounds like a plan.
I'd also like to step out of my moderator duties, if I may, and just have us give first the panelists a round of
included is at least one picture. Absolutely. Have some more food?
Yes, please, eat the food.
We will eat the food.
Take pictures, and we look forward to seeing you soon. And I will see you.
You want us to keep sitting or you want us standing?
How do you-
Oh, that's right. Can you make the announcement?
I'm happy to.
Yes, please do.
Okay,
It's very important.
next Thursday, the Civic Design Center is actually going to be hosting a screening of the documentary that Janine and Angela made called What Happened to Bass Street, which talks about this history.
Oh,
It'll be
wow.
right here from 5:30 to 7.
When?
Next week. We got
Next Thursday,
Next Thursday.
What happened to that?
5:30.
Okay.
I can share the website where you
Yep.
can,
Okay.
get a ticket.
Oh, okay,
It's a paper?
and
It's
to
paper?
piggyback on what she just
What happened to
said,
Bass Street?
we will be having our 138th year anniversary next Sunday.
Bass Street.
Bad street, yeah.
Shout out your pastor.
Young
Pastor
church.
Darrell Thompson, senior.
Okay. The clipboard's there. Please put your information on it. We're super excited, y'all. Thank you, family.
Everybody sign in so y'all know when we gonna do the next one of these. And we'll run out of time again.
What you want to get around, Walter?
All right, you wanna take the picture? I thought you was trying to tell me something.